Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Dutchman Does ARML Log Review. I have a special guest with me here today, Tateniu, also known as Nathanael, professional caster and pro mahjong player from the ARML. Nate, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I'm not sure about professional, but definitely a Richie Mahjong fan, and I love doing reviews, and so this is going to be a lot of fun. This was a game that you played fairly recently, and I saw a couple things as I was watching you stream it, and I thought it'd be good to comment on a couple of those things, and so here we are.
I agree. I will say that I believe you are better than me, skill-wise, so I appreciate your input, and hopefully we can have some good intel come out of this.
Absolutely.
Do you want to do anything setup-wise? Like, should I be from my perspective?
Look from your perspective, probably just cover the hands and everything. We'll just imagine that it's as you are playing the game.
All right.
Let's even cover the weights as well. We don't want to see when people are tempai and what they're waiting on.
Okay.
And then let's just walk through it step by step.
All right. Well, this is the first hand. I liked the high pie, but the 3 was next to Dora, so I think I kept it. Nope, threw it immediately.
Yeah, there's a couple thoughts here. I mean, you have the Yaku high pair in the Haku, and the West isn't your wind, but that's a pair that could lean you towards Honitsu. And you also have some outside pairs, so you might be thinking about Chanta too. And your first choice is even, do you call that one so or not for like a Chanta type hand?
Yeah, I decided not to.
I think that's an acceptable one as well.
We throw the East. And then the 9 comes, and I'm starting to feel better about the 3-pin, and the 1 so comes out.
So you commit to the Honitsu plan.
At the very
least.
I felt like I had the blocks to steal for it, so I thought I could stay fast on this hand.
And you expect to see a Westwood come out eventually.
Yeah. We finish off the 1s.
Yep, just holding all these potential honors. Boom.
We open on the 9.
Advances you in Shanten.
Now this, I didn't agree with. Or did I?
Yeah, the 1 Mon is technically more helpful in hand than one of these lone honors, because if you think about, say, the green dragon or the red dragon, the number of tiles that will improve your hand with those in hand is just the 3 other copies, right? Because you have to pair it up. Versus the 1 Mon, which you could pair up, or you could find a 2 or a 3. It's a little bit more awkward since 2 of the 1 Mon have been discarded already, but you have 4 draws. Each of the 4 2 Mons is a good draw, and each of the 4 3 Mons is a good draw as well. Holding the green dragon, red dragon is more value minded. You're thinking, I can pair that up and get another Yakuhai and make a Mongon out of this.
Right. I think my thinking was I saw the 1 to the left and to the right, and I was like, oh, well, that's twice cut. That's never going to happen. And then immediately I was like, you can make a 2-3 out of it, and the West are your pair. So I think it's also with a Honitsu hand, the honors are just hard weights because they're really obvious.
Right.
Unless they've got like a Hanemon, they're going to hang on to a lone green dragon or a lone red dragon, even if it breaks their patterns.
A lot of times what's going to end up happening is you call the West anyway here and end up on a Tonki weight, a single weight. And it's probably going to be one of these dragons. If you wanted to hedge everything, you could just drop one of the dragons and hope to pair up the other one, or to draw a 2 Mon or a 3 Mon. And then if you end up calling the West, you can end up on the dragon weight. And it's early enough that it might come out.
So we move on a little bit. We pwn the West, as mentioned, and now we're on that Tonki weight for greens. So there's no extra Yaku from this.
Right. But of course, as you advance in this hand, you're thinking, what draws will improve this weight from just the green dragon, and do I want that improvement?
Any Manzu would upgrade this hand, I think. But I throw the 4.
Yeah, the 4 is still a single weight, and so I think it's not as good as a Tonki, especially because it's been cut already. But a nice draw might be the 5 Mon, because then you can win on the 5 or the 8.
Right. Or if I get the 8, then I have still the 5-8 weight.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the 6 or the 9.
The 9 mon is less helpful because you have the portal already, so it only was on the 6 there.
Right.
So yeah, as you're playing this, you're thinking, okay, I want the 5, I want the 8, the 9's not so good, the 7's not so good. Anything else is not so good.
On the red dragon. I'm not worried about the Hatsu, but it is a possibility. 8 comes out across. Nobody's worried about open Honitsu for whatever reason.
Yeah, they're both just fighting their Tempais.
And they get roamed on the 8.
Okay. Oh, it's unfortunate that you got the Hatsu instead of the Chun, but especially because it's paired up in this hand. But I think you played this hand just fine.
Yeah. It did take the wind out of the sails, though. And I think it only gets worse from there. So now we're
dealer.
Yep. So we were second dealer. We start with a 1-5-8 in the Manzu, a 6 double 9 pin, 6-7-9 so, a pair of west which are useless, a north, and double reds. One mon is a Dora, but I've got nothing close to it.
This is a weird high pie. Again, you start with 2 pairs of honors, and a lot of times when you see that, you think, "Oh, this is a Honitsu," but your suits aren't telling you a clear indication for which suit the Honitsu will be. So, dropping the north and just hedging everything seems kind of normal here.
I think my go-to for this high pie was pwn the reds, and then have efficient shapes and go for like Chunomi.
Yeah, that's totally fine, especially because you're dealer and you can repeat. And if you draw around this Dora, it gets more and more expensive.
Chun Dora 1 turns it into 2 Han instead of 1.
Exactly. And 2 Han is already 2,900 minimum.
North gets pwned for Yakuhai. It's not scary. It's just annoying. Drop the 9 to stay efficient. We've already got acceptance on the 8. We don't need the 9. And we get another 9, which gets thrown. Now we have east and north to the left. And maybe it's just because of what happened a couple days ago, but I don't like seeing that at all.
Yeah, I do have a little bit of background info on that player. They tend to be pretty closed in terms of their calling. And so since they're opening twice, I'm feeling confident that they have either a good hand or it's very, very fast. And they're already discarding a tile near the Dora, so I'm imagining it's just very fast.
Now, with the 3 coming out, the 1 being Dora, they having double Yakuhai and a Yaku available, are you worried about a pair weight on the Dora, or they already have the pair set up?
Yeah, I'm worried about a 1-4 weight. I'm worried that they have a pair of the Dora and are basically have Mongon right now. Mm-hmm. I am concerned, even though we already have a Dora ourselves. They're definitely outspeeding us currently.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I might be willing to call just about anything here, even put on the 9 pin of all things, because I want to catch up in speed.
Mm-hmm.
It is a little risky because we need the Chun at that point, but this could even turn into Toy Toy.
We steal the 5, and we start breaking our pair, because with the hand to the left, I'm worried about the reds and the wests. I'm worried about giving them like an easy Honitsu or like, God forbid, a Shoshushi.
yeah, that would be the worst. I'm feeling like I want to hold the 9 pin pair because I think I can pawn it, and also because there might be a Toy Toy here in the future. I might toss the 8-9 mon instead, and maybe end up in Dora Tonki.
I can see the 8-9 mon. I think that's a good choice.
I do agree. I don't want to drop honors.
The green comes out, literally no fear from Ada. Or maybe she knows something I don't. The 9 is now safe, though. We finish off our pair so we don't end up for a 10. Dora comes out as well. Literally insane.
Yeah, no fear. Not a believer in Tempai.
The white dragon comes out very late.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw them like rotate their hand as well. They drew something they wanted over the white. 4 pin gets cheed. 2 mon comes out. There's a 9 pin.
Late 9 pin.
We connect the 5 to our 6-7, and I think I'm comfortable dropping the green, or I'm comfortable dropping the 1. But I break 9-8 instead.
Yeah, this is a sort of out of fear of them having how tempai, because the one and the Hatsu both passed the Green Dragon.
Yeah.
But now it might not pass anymore. I
Right.
think
That was like 2 or 3
the Green
turns
Dragon's
ago.
probably still fine, but I am concerned about the Dora.
It's almost like, from my opinion, it's too much to risk, right? Getting hit on either the 1 or the green would absolutely like blow this game open. And if it does happen, I don't want it to happen to me.
Right.
So I definitely backed out of fear on that one. The 9 was Genbutsu.
The downside here, as you click through, is you don't have anything else that's guaranteed safe right now. So
right.
At that point, maybe just pushing is your best plan.
The 8 gets cheated.
Eight passed safely from our toyman, Michael.
Yep.
If they needed it, they probably would have called it. So that's a pretty safe cut.
And now we're getting the 3 and the 4.
Yeah,
like,
I don't believe they have the Dora anymore.
But they were Sumogiri.
Right. I don't think they need Monzu at all at this point.
The 7 is safe. We get the red, but we're still so afraid we throw our Sozo away.
Yeah, if you had been able to pass the Green Dragon and the 1 Mon and this 8 pin, you would have symboled there. But we're folding at this point, so the Jun should also be pretty safe.
Yeah, I agree. But I think I had Genbutsu tile, so
right. If you're fighting, you'd call that, but since you're folding, that's just 2 free safe tiles. Oh, well, now you have 4 safe tiles.
Right. But the west was the reach tile, so we'll stay there. And I think we keep getting... So the 5... The 5 was a mistake there.
Definitely should be the west and then all of the tunes, and you will be able to get safely to the end of the hand with the west and the tunes.
Yeah. The 5 was a mistake. If I want to be safe. And I do. The 8 was safe. The 5 was a push.
Is, it Nakatsuchi, but you have safer tiles, so there's no need to be clever.
Exactly. The green is now finally cleared.
Safe all alone.
All 3 of them were just like in the last end of the wall.
It's a pin weight. It was 6 pin on the left, and for our toyman, it's a 5-8 pin weight.
And then a 3 pin to the right.
So we feel a little bit punished because we probably could have just pushed this hand and even won it, and then we ended up losing 3,000 because everyone got tempai. But there's going to be a Ricci stick for the next round, and we aren't in the worst spot. It's still a very close game.
So we open up our hand. We've got some bad blocks, but a Dora. And the possible Sanshok on the 1, 2, 3, but we need some work in the Pinzu.
Yeah, let's see what our first draw gives us.
We get the 5 connecting to the 6.
Yeah, so that ruins any thoughts of Chanta at this point. I have a good shape with the Dora, so we don't need to do the outside hand thing.
Yep. Discard our honors, trying to stay efficient with our inside tiles.
A lot of people will say to discard the east first, but you get rewarded by holding on to it. The reason for discarding the east would be to prevent whoever is the dealer from being able to call double east. But this worked out great.
We draw the 3, and now I believe I pair the 3, throwing the 1, or maybe the 9 first.
Yep, 9 first would be
No, I break
the
my
usual
1, 2.
I think you might be thinking about the possibility of building an Itsu in the Dozu.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 1 through 9. I think the most efficient cut is the 9 solo. But a little bit of greed is fine because you've already got enough shapes.
5 gets cheat across. Tanya possibly. Yakuhai reds to the left. And we get the 3 immediately backfires. Now the 9 goes. Now that
Okay. You're saying I can redraw back into this one.
And if I do, I end up on like a 147, or, you know, it works, right?
Yeah, it's fine. You might end up discarding it anyway in the future, but this is fine.
And there comes the 4.
Okay.
So now we throw the 1, locking the 3s as the pair. We can open on the east, keeping the pair, and then we have a nice 3-sided weight. Inside Conchan on the 7-9 is not great, but the Ryanman in the 6-7 is still looking pretty good, although 1-5 has been taken.
Yeah, and if you count your blocks, let's say from right to left, you have the east pair is 1, the 6-7 is 1,
2,
3-3 is 1,
3, 4, and then you got 5-6.
5-6. So you have one extra block. You will need to get rid of one of these. And so depending on how your hand progresses, it might be a 7-9 because that's your worst shape. It could be the 2-3 because that's
we're
2d10.
yeah.
Right.
There's an 8-pin across. We draw the 9, and I throw it.
Yeah, this is a weird one because you have too many pairs, so you should drop one of them. And you get the pawn.
Yep. And we break the 7.
Okay, so you don't fear the 2d10 here. And that's fine because you should be able to chi a 1, 4, or 7.
Right. And I mentioned this in my stream, but I'm not afraid of Furitan with a 3-sided weight.
Mm-hmm.
I think obviously you should be because it's still a suboptimal like pattern. But
Right.
with 3-sided, it's not like I'm taking like a Tonki weight for 10, right?
Yeah, that would. I don't think it gets worse than that. Oh, and I see you passed the chi on the 5, so because you didn't want to have your final weight be 2d10.
That's correct. There's
Okay.
still a chance to draw it myself, but if I get to Tenpai, then I'm ready to commit to the Furitan, basically.
I do think it's justifiable to take the chi there, but I can understand not wanting to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just holding the 7-so for efficiency. Now you can pull in the 7-so, pull in the 3-so, or find a 5-8-so for Tenpai.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it looks like a normal hand. I do cheat a 5 the second time, and we drop the 7.
The player across has made a second call, so it's getting very late. I think we are running out of time. We do need to call that.
Worth noting, they do have like Sanshoku patterns.
Mm-hmm.
They've got 4-5-6 and 4-5-6 sealed away.
Yeah, so they're hoping for at least Tateniu, Sanjuku, Dora for 3 Han minimum.
At least, yeah. And then we sumo
nice.
on the 1.
Rewarded.
Which puts us just barely above 30k. So we go to East 4. We move the dealer seat. We got lucky with our Furitan. And then we have a Yakuhai pair on the west. A Ryankan in the Sozu. Garbage in the Pinzu and the Manzu. And some loose honors to fill it out.
And not great shapes, but you have the pair of Yakuhai. It might just be a call and go depending on how quickly your hand can shape up. And you called.
Yeah.
So let's go.
And I'm ready to steal everything, but I have nothing I can steal with. So
yeah, we need draws. At this point, we need to get some connectors. That's
the
a
9
connector.
at least
It's not a
connects to
good
the
one.
8. We trade the 1 out because anything that connects to the 4 will like duplicate the 1 or be a
Right,
better
yeah.
upgrade anyways. The 3 connects to the 4, and now we have a 2-5 instead of just the 1-2 or the 2-sided weight.
1-3 is a worse shape than 3-4, so this is definitely good.
That's a good way to say it. We drop the 3.
I like just cutting one of the honor tiles here and holding the 3 mon because we still need another block, sort of.
Yeah.
At least we were hoping one of these blocks improves to something better.
A block and a pair. And I do like the Ryankan keeping the other tile, the pair. I don't know if there's any logic to that, but
Yeah, the Ryankan is good.
we pair the
that could be our
9s,
pair.
and I do believe we start getting our honors now. We chi. As mentioned before, we want to steal everything. The 6 is now a floater, so we get rid of it. But
I
the
still want
red,
to hold the 6 similar to the 3 because I want the best blocks possible in the future. And if I can replace this Yankon 468 with a 6-7 Yaman or a 5-6 shape, I would do so in a heartbeat.
do you think I was being greedy, maybe hedging Honitsu, or possibly forcing something to happen next to the Dora?
I think you are correct to hold that entire shape in the Sozu, the 468, especially because you do absolutely want to draw near the Dora. I think if you're thinking Honitsu, it's probably too late because we would have wanted that 1 pin back and maybe kept this honor over a So tile.
Right.
The honors back. I don't think Honitsu was a serious consideration in this hand, so I think probably shouldn't be thinking that direction. The 8 pin is just a worse tile than the 6-mon. And of course, the Chun is a worse tile than the 6-mon in terms of building another block, and we do need one more block. Okay, just calling it down. It looks kind of scary. It kind of has the Honitsu feel to it, but we know it's not.
Yeah. I don't think our opponents are falling for it, though, because, like you mentioned, we dropped the 1, we dropped the 8. Really wouldn't do that if you're drawing for Pinzu Honitsu.
Right. This does leave us a little bit vulnerable.
Yeah, they probably know
if
I've
someone
got
declares
nothing.
Ricci.
The north is Yakuhai for Ada.
And I'm happy to see that because I do not want to see a Ricci come out.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The 3 is the Dora, so we connect that up. And we opt for the 8 So over the red.
I guess the reason you're thinking about this is if you draw the 5 So specifically, then you have the 3, 4, 5, 6 shape, the Nobeton, double pair weight. That allows you to win on Dora twice. Pretty good.
I'm remembering this hand now. My thinking for this was I was trying to be sneaky. I felt like I had gotten robbed maybe the last hand. So I thought my only way to win would be with something like a Tonki weight on a once cut dragon.
Yeah, I do like that. If you draw the 2 So for Tempai, I like cutting the 6 and waiting on the red dragon. And if you draw the 5, I like cutting the red dragon just because you can win on the Dora and have 2 Dora in this hand instead of just 1.
But I think...
I do like that idea. Also, it's a safer tile if someone declares Ricci.
That too. But I feel like I held this dragon for too long, especially over such good tiles, like you were saying, the 8 and the 6.
Now a second red dragon has come out, so it's a little worse as a weight.
And it goes immediately, yeah.
Okay. As we approach the middle of the second row, that's when I start to want to have a safe tile, especially because we know we're going to be on a Tonki weight. So I might have even held the Chun over the 5 pin at that point.
We get the 8 back, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, unlucky.
The 7 gets cheat across. We draw a 7 pin and throw the 6.
Okay, you're getting concerned that it's close to Dora, probably. Just want to get it out of there. Also, this technically gets you to Tempai on the 6 pin as well, so this is the most efficient.
Yeah, I saw that we are connecting over here, so having 2 connected shapes would increase my acceptance. This confused me because now he's got an open terminal sequence and an open inside sequence. Was he just fighting for Tempai, for Ryukyoku?
There's a lot of draws left, 39. Usually you start to fight for Tempai with, around 20-ish. So, give or take. So it might be Yakuhai. What type of honors haven't been seen? It can't be the Chun. It can't be the Hatsu. White Dragon hasn't been seen yet, so it could be that.
Correct.
And the East is not viable, so it can only be the White Dragon for Michael.
Yeah. And it did lock in a Dora for him as well.
And so notably, the discard afterwards was the 5, so which means he had a 1-3-5 shape in hand.
Yep.
Opened on the 2, dropped the 5, and I'm pretty confident it should be a Haku. Which means if we draw it, we can't really discard it.
There goes the last tune. 9 pin gets sumo geared. We draw the 5, so now we're picking our pair. And we go for the 5 pin.
Okay.
Maybe thinking half Suji on the 8. But I don't know if anyone would fall for it. And we get roamed on the 7 pin.
Yeah, typically tiles that are more terminal tend to come out more easily. But it's hard to argue one way or another for this cut. And yeah, this is a very cheap deal in. There was no real indication that the 7 pin was going to deal in over the 5 pin, so I think this is fine.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't too upset about that one. Now this one looked like a good high pie, so I think I wanted this one. Red, white, green, red was Dora, so I'm going to hang on to this for quite a while, I think, and nothing will come of it.
Yeah, it's awkward because if you never pair it up, it's got to come out, and it comes out late. It's giving more people time to draw a pair. But I don't mind holding on to it a little bit. You have enough blocks. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, and then the tune.
I almost think dropping the tune first would have been better.
I think that would have been a totally fine play here, to cut the tune right away.
Because it leaves us with so many good blocks. You won't be able to open unless we do like a Chanta hand, but if it's Chanta, you're going to keep the red.
Yeah, one idea that I'm thinking about here is you have 3 pairs. One of them is a set of 3 of a kind.
That's
and then
true,
also have this red dragon, which might become a Chitoi, a 7 pairs hand in the future.
You know what? I thought the same thing.
Yeah, so I don't mind the 7-so cut as if you're hedging the possibility of turning this into 7 pairs in the future. It's very greedy.
Yeah.
Ooh, well now you've filled the shape.
Yep. And now we're...
So if you're cutting the 2-4, you're giving up a shape entirely and saying, you're almost saying I'll never drop this tune. And I'm going to build around it, even if it's my Tanki. So here the most efficient cut, of course, is the tune, the red dragon, but it looks like you're being very greedy here.
I think I was Dora hungry on this hand.
So far in this game, all the hands have been very cheap, and so if you can win a big hand, it would really blow things open.
Mm-hmm. We pass on the 9, and we draw the 3, and now it's looking, I believe to me, like Chitoi.
Okay.
But we drop the 4.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Follow through with your plan from the last discard.
And there's a bit of logic there too, because we're not completely committing to Chitoi by dropping the 9-so. We're not throwing away a completed block on the 7-8-9 yet. The 4 was just a floater after what I had done before.
Yeah, with a 2-pin cut. And your Ishanten here, you can draw an Anko of the 3, 5, or 9 and be Tempai, or you could even draw the 4 mod and have Ipeko Tempai. So correct. I think this is good. Keep all your options open.
2-pin, bit of a backfire if we wanted Chitoi, but
yeah, you never know what Chitoi tells you. Ooh, Tempai. Do you just slam the Richi?
But here's the problem, because that puts us on the 5-9, and 1 has come out for each of them. So I slam the Richi with 2 tiles left to win the game, and I'm yelling at myself. I'm kicking myself as soon as I do.
It's not the worst because there is some extra value here. If you Tsumo, you have Sananko as well. And if you're to improve the weight, it would involve not getting Sananko most likely. So I think it's a value. It's also very early and could put some pressure, even though it's clear that you don't have the Dora in your hand and it's difficult to make value without the Dora.
Yeah.
You might have some people pushing against you, but terminal tiles like the 9-mon come out all the time, so we'll see.
That was part of the logic.
Well, I'm curious how long it will take you to upgrade this shape if you just Dama this hand.
The 7, I think technically is an upgrade, but it's for Suanko Tempai, right?
Yeah, you'd be dropping your Tempai here and going for like a Toy Toy Suanko, or even just Chitoy at this point.
I don't hate opening for Chitoy or Toy Toy.
Toy Toy?
Yeah. Especially because the 9 to 5.
Just like you said,
No.
9 to 5 are still hard to find here, so I'm still believing this Ricci was the right move.
Well, I think I end up getting punished for it, so it's hard to convince me.
Yeah, if you draw a 4 or a 6 mon, I might backtrack, but
2 never would have fit, I don't think.
no.
Five.
Unfortunately for you, your discards very much look like you need a mon tile.
Yeah. There comes
This is
the
good.
6.
Suji trap.
Yep, that's what I thought. But everyone's got plenty of 6s in their hands, so we'll throw those first. White Dragon.
Getting chased by dealer is not a good sign.
Yeah. Another 6 comes out across. 5-pin was safe.
Just have to pass 1 or 2 more tiles.
Draw the closed con, of course you call it. White Dragon luckily was safe.
Okay, you're safe. The con does give high take to this player, but they do not win, so you got out of there.
Yeah. And they were on a 4-6, so a similar Shabon weight.
Yeah, not a very good weight. Yours wasn't either, so fair that it went to a draw. Still a very close game.
So that leaves our sticks in the middle. I am below 30 because of that reach. And I think that was another reason why it hurt so bad. Was that I would have been fine if I had just not done anything.
Well, it's you gained 500 points for that Ricci, so I guess you would have been below 30 either way. And if you hadn't Ricci'd, other players probably would have been able to put their hand together and just beat you out. So I think this is still fine. Of course, if you had managed to make it to Ryukoku without the Ricci stick, you would be over 30,000. But hey, those are just 2 sticks for you to gain in this hand.
Right. If I can get a hand.
Yeah, this isn't looking promising.
Well, what I do see is that I only have 4 terminals. So the possibility of Tateniu exists, but it's not going to be easy. I think the Sanshoku was more likely for me, just like opening the hand. Or like at first glance, but...
Sure. Yeah, we've drawn a Dora, that's interesting too.
A stretch. Yeah, the red dragon was Dora again. And I never learned my lesson from the last time, so...
I'm not particularly pleased to have seen it, but at least that means somebody else isn't getting it.
Right. So I locked the ones as the pair. I've got Kanshan pair, Ryankan, Ryanman, and Ryankan. So I like these shapes. And I'm just hanging on to the Dora so that no one else can have it.
Okay. Yeah, this is a really tough cut. So as long as you have some logic behind it, it's fine.
The 7 was great. So I get rid of my Dora.
Okay.
Because now I can keep this as an Anko. I can use it as a pair. I can draw the 6-9 on it.
Yeah, really, because you already have a pair, you probably... Oh, okay, 2 pairs, let's go.
Yep.
Oh, so now you have to break one of your shapes then, or leave one of your pairs behind. What do you think is better?
What do I think is better? I mean, I just saw that I broke the Kanchan, but...
Right. It's not an easy call. There's some merits to both.
For the Shabon weight was the 1 is a terminal, the 8 is Kabed by the 7s that I'm holding.
One chance at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're anticipating having a pretty strong Shampoo weight on the 1 so 8 mod. I think that weight, if you get there, is pretty strong. The other thing I'm thinking is that if you use the 8 mon is your pair and you cut one so, you can turn this into a Tanya like you were thinking at the beginning of the hand.
Right. As soon as I paired those ones, though, I think all thoughts of Tanya left my head.
Mm.
Even though it is an easy discard, they're usually pretty safe, like theory-wise.
Yeah, that's something that I sometimes have trouble with is I'll see a path that I want to take, and I'll be drawing towards that path, and then I'll get a great draw that has a good idea behind it. And it's hard to leave the path that I had in my head and be flexible.
Right. Well, anyways, we dropped the 8. We're going to drop the 6 next.
Unless we draw a 5. Come on, 5 so.
We get a 2, which I've already locked the 1s as my pair, as well as the
We've already
8,
dropped
so
a 3, so that would be 50-10. Good discard.
North wind, not worried about that. Sumo across the way. What are you going to do?
Now Michael grabs the sticks, and that's actually going to be really tight now in terms of scoring.
Tanya, Nomi on a Kanchan 6. Ugh.
The tension builds going into South 2.
But look at that. I kept my 6, so I didn't get
you
wrong.
did manage to avoid the deal in there.
South 2 is my dealer seat. My high pie looks pretty good. I like this hand. And I think I'm pretty comfortable dropping my honors right away.
I would hold all these honors over the 1 mon. The 1 mon doesn't seem to be doing very much in the hand because you have the 4 mon already. But then after that, I like the honor cuts. Ooh, that's an interesting discard. Let me see that. 9 pin. So just counting blocks, we have the 4 mon pair, the 6-7 mon shape, and then this pin shape, which I'll read from the top to the bottom. I see it as a 9-9 pair, 8-7-6, and a 5-3. So I'm counting 3 blocks there. If you hold the 9 pin pair, it will probably transform into something different. We'll probably drop the 9 pin eventually.
Yeah.
But even here, I think you could hold the 9 pin in favor of the 1 mon or the green dragon. Just if you were to draw another 9 pin, you'd feel very rewarded.
Yeah. And I know my thought when I first saw the 7 fill in was Itsu.
Sure.
But I don't have to drop the 9 pin now for Itsu to happen. That's definitely something I can hang on to for a while, even.
I definitely think Itsu should be a thought to have here, and just in the hierarchy of tiles, the 1 mon feels like it's still not doing very much here.
Yeah. And the green too, right? I've got East, I got red, drop the green.
But even the green is fine. If you pair it up, it's just as good as pairing up the 9 pins, so it's a little more understandable to hold that.
But the 9 pin goes anyways. And then we move on. We live our lives. We pair up the greens after 1 has been cut. Now the 1 mon goes. West has been twice cut. No need to hang on to that. 2 reds, 9 so. 1 pin from the left, but we can't steal it yet. A second west, which doesn't help any more than the first one did. 9 pin comes from the left.
Everyone's just discarding Nagashi Mangan type tiles, terminals and honors.
Yeah.
Very standard hands being built here. Okay, floater 6 goes out.
We drew the 6 pin. And if we had the 9, we upgrade this Kanchan into a Ryanman. But
now,
because we didn't have the 9, we keep the Kanchan only.
In this position, it's a little awkward because we have now 3 pairs, the 4 mon, the 6 pin, and the green dragon. And usually you want to be sitting at 2 pairs, unless you're going for a pair heavy hand. So I'm thinking, is it worthwhile to drop something else instead of this 6 so? Because I'm thinking there might be a chance you get 6, 7, 8 Sanjoku.
I think the greens would have been a better discard. because I like the shapes, and I like my odds of drawing around the shapes. So opening on the greens would kind of hurt my value.
Yeah, if we think about the number of, well, okay, to talk about the greens, I think even though it would hurt your value, you are dealer, so there's a lot of incentive to take even a cheap win here, especially because you don't have any Dora. It's very difficult to use Dora. You'd prefer to win the hand with something cheap than risk somebody else winning with the Dora. I think if just counting the blocks, again, you have 2 blocks in the Manzu, you have the green dragon pair is 3, and then the way our pin shape is currently set, you have the 9-8-7, the 6-6, and then the 5-3. It's 3 blocks. So you have a total of 6 blocks, which is one too many. Now might be a good idea to shave off one of those blocks so that you can hold the 6-0 and maybe draw into that 6-7-8 Sanchoku for some extra value. So if you want to greed the Itsu still and shave and the Sanchoku, you drop the 6-pin back. If you just want to hold good shapes, you can throw the 3-pin.
Yeah.
And if you want to just hold the maximum number of blocks to draw into Tenpai, the 6-0 is the most efficient cut in that way. So yeah, a few different like ideas, and it depends on which path you want to go. Here you're just saying, I'll take the most efficient route to Tenpai. But I think in most, like even your best draw here, like the 4-pin draw, you end up having to cut a block anyway. So it might be worthwhile just cutting it a little bit early with the 3-pin cut.
I think this hand also takes me for a ride. I think I go back and forth on what I want to do with it. And I don't even think I make it to Tenpai at Ryukyoku for this hand.
Yeah, let's see.
The 1 was an easy cut.
Right.
We already drawn that one. We pull in the greens. We're open now. And I break the 6-7. I guess I'm forcing Honitsu at this point in the game.
Yeah, the way you say that makes me think you disagree with your own choice now in review.
I do disagree. I think it's an awful cut.
I also think that it is too late to go for a Honitsu here, especially because you've already dropped a 9-pin. If you still have the 9-pin hand, maybe you could consider it, but you still need another very good draw and then call your way there. I think you should just go for the fastest route to Tenpai here and just hold your good shapes.
I think the
cut.
double, the 3-pin?
Yeah, because you have the 4 Mons kind of acting as your pair, but you can use the 6-pin as a backup pair. The most likely route for that 6-pin is to work with a 5, make a 4-5-6 or a 5-6-7, but it's like a perfect Dishanten sort of shape where you've, I guess, perfect Dishanten because you've got 5-6-6 that can turn into 4-5-6 or a 5-6-7, or it could be a pull on the 4 Mon or the 6-pin. Yeah, this is perfect Dishanten on the 3-pin cut. So yeah,
I agree.
Pull 3-pin is the most efficient play here.
But we drop the 7 instead. We draw the red, which sort of helps if you're gonna force Honitsu. The 2 again. Now we're feeling slightly less punished, and we get roamed on the 4.
So if you now is your chance. If you draw the 2, if you were regretting the choice to go to Honitsu, you still had an out. You could just drop the Chun, and you have perfect Dishanten again. But you were committed to this plan, and we didn't. I'm a little surprised there wasn't a Ricci on the right because they found Tenpai on the 3-mon cut. So
yeah,
how
this surprised
was this?
me. This was awful. This is 4K.
Oh, could have been Ricci, Pinfu, Dora with potential Tateniu. However, if a Ricci came out, you wouldn't have tossed the 4-mon. I don't think you would just go with a Chun and then maybe fought for Tenpai with the 6-pin later.
Yeah.
So,
do you mind if I look at the Ura?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Round wall.
So they would have had 7, so nothing. Or a 0.
If you had dealt in after Ricci, it would still be Mongon. It would have been a critical hand. And if they sumo, of course, it's Mongon as well. I think you would have been able to dodge it, though. So they ended up picking up points where they probably wouldn't have from you, at least otherwise.
Yeah.
But that does hurt us going into South 3.
Yeah,
this
South
is
3.
when you start looking at your placement and realizing we're in 4th.
We just got kicked in the teeth by dealer. We're below 30. It's a stretch to get back.
Yeah, but you can do it with just a 3-Han 40 Fu hand.
Yeah. And this does not look like a 3-Han 40 Fu hand.
No, I guess we'll wait for our first draw, but it's not looking pretty.
The 4.
June is slightly better here because it's already been cut once.
And the north is my Yakuhai.
Right.
I think now with a third pair, I'm looking possibly at Chitoi, but I really hate Chitoi.
Yeah,
so
Chitoi
it would take another one to convince me.
It's always difficult. It's not almost never what you want to do, but you somehow find yourself going that route with the 7 pairs. Oh.
And then it comes and I'm like, okay, I don't like it, but I will.
Yeah, and here you're not really forcing it still. The Green Dragon is usually a pretty good weight if you're going for Chitoi, especially if it hasn't come out yet. But you're still thinking there's a chance I can make a regular hand here.
Yeah, that's why I kept my 1-2. But the 6 is a committal to Chitoi.
Yeah, you're setting up the Suji trap on the 3-pin.
Exactly. The 4 is exactly what I wanted to see, and I see the 1-2 on the board, so these are my cuts. I need a 7 or a 3.
I think the 1-so is a pretty good hold, actually, because even though it's once cut already, it's very difficult for players to use it. They might have discarded it already.
Yeah.
Whereas the 7-so here is close to the Dora, and it's very likely that people will just be holding that tile.
Yeah, I know there's a point. I think it might even be right now where I'm like, I don't want to drop the 7. I look at the door and I'm like, oh, that was not something I want to have to discard for Tenpai.
Yeah, if you're still thinking about turning this into the normal hand, which is still possible, the 7 is good to be able to make a 6, 7, 8 shape that includes the Dora. But I think at this point you're pretty committed to the Chitoi.
Yeah. I think the only way for me personally to have turned this into a normal hand would have been Toy stealing this 1, this 3.
Yeah, and this late, it's so hard to switch off of this plan, so...
Yeah. The 9 would have been a choice to switch out, looking at like dropping the 8, the 3, the 7, and having a like double Ryanmen kind of thing going on. 1s and 4s, but it's just too late to kind of...
Yeah, I agree.
Mess around with what you got. We draw the 7.
You paired up the 7.
So I don't have to drop it. I reach on the Suji trap. I Dama on the Suji trap.
Sad the 7-mon comes out.
Immediately,
I think
yeah.
if you're going to set up the Suji trap, then you need to Riichi to make use of it.
The 2 gets pwned. That's fine.
Ooh, Dora came out.
I saw that too. Now we reach on the Suji.
Yeah, so is there a particular reason to wait for this Riichi? Or that you chose to Riichi in now?
I just don't like reaching on Chitoi in general. So the reason I waited... I don't know, maybe the 2 gave me confidence. Maybe seeing the 4 come out gave me confidence that the 3 might happen.
Yeah, so after the 2s get called, that's all the 2s visible to you. So it's hard, they can't have a 1, 2, 3 shape. They can't have a 2, 3, 4. It has to be 3, 4, 5 exactly. Or maybe they have like a pair of the 3-pin.
Yeah.
And so maybe after the 2-pin, you said, okay, I feel like this is good enough to wait for. Also, maybe the Dora coming out from the left signals they're close to Tenpai, and so you wanted to maybe scare them away a little bit. I think the earlier you take the Riichi, the more likely you are to scare someone off. And of course, that Suji trap isn't a Suji trap if they don't think you're Tenpai. They will just ignore your hand. But once you Riichi, then they have to start looking at the Suji and things like that.
That's a good way to think about it, yeah. So now it's a race. It's me and Ada, both went reach.
Yeah, and Ada did a Tsumogiri reach. I don't know if you noticed, but the 3-so was the drawn tile, so she was already Tenpai at that time.
I mean, I do the same thing, so
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
1 pin is safe. She needed
6 mon.
6 mon only.
Yeah, that explains the Tsumoguri Richi. She wasn't going to Richi that unless she had to. Okay, not punished. 2 sticks in the pot again. We'll see if we can win it this time.
Right. And cozy looking shapes. I like the 4-6-6-6.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
The white is an easy discard, especially after seeing one come out. Worth noting, I didn't realize that all 4 6s were technically visible. I don't know if that will factor in the idea that I'll never see another 6 come out. But it might.
Probably won't be relevant in this hand, but there's a world where you'll need to take that into consideration.
Yeah. So I'm really aiming at Sanshoko, I think, with this move. And I think I'm aiming at it because I'm so far behind. I'm in last place. But it's not technically by a lot. Getting the reach sticks would be enough to push me into third at least.
Yeah, I was going to comment on the 7 mon instead of the 1 pin, but you explained it with the Sanshoko idea. Yeah, and there's even potentially Itsu in the Pinzu if we get there.
That too. It is still quite a stretch, though, on the 7.
Oh, there's some reasons. So I think it might be slightly worse, but it's justifiable.
Nine so 8 so. We get the 5, and now I'm feeling good about the 7. I was probably bitter when I first dropped it, but the 5 is like the bandage I was looking for.
And since you have 2 Manzu blocks, that means Itsu is impossible. So you don't have to worry about the 1 pin as much, and out it goes.
Exactly. And now I'm looking at my blocks, right? Because things are getting complicated. I see the 1-3, the 1-2-3. We got a Ryamen on the 4-5. So I need a pair somewhere. And if it's gonna be the 6s, right? Then you drop the 9. You have a 5-8. And then what's the 4 doing?
Yeah, well, you could draw a 5 pin and have a 4-5-6, 6s as the pair, and then a 7-8-9 or a 1-2-3. You get some flexibility there. We'll decide on this 4 pin later, but there are some worlds where we end up keeping it.
I did notice that the 7 pin was Dora, so I am looking around this trying to make it happen. 6 we don't need. The 2 connects to the 4, so I drop my 1-3.
Okay. You're treating it like a 2-4-6 shape, and then the
yes,
other 2 6s are your pair. Okay, that's good.
That locked in the pair as well in my head, so I'm like, okay, I agree with this. A Ryankan in my head was more efficient than a Chankan. A Kanchan. Yeah.
So this is a moment that I noticed. We should keep the 1 mon here.
Yeah, I noticed it when I discarded it too.
The reason for that is we don't need these 6s to be the pair. We could just say the 6s are a triplet, 6-6-6, 7-8-9. And if that's the case, we could use a pair somewhere else. And it's possible that we end up with, say in the Pinzu, 2-3-4, 6-6-6, 7-8-9, and then the 1 mon is our pair. And the 1-so isn't doing anything for us anyway.
Exactly.
So we might as well hold an extra pair in our hand. And just as a general rule, if you're building a normal hand in Mahjong, the most efficient shapes tend to have 2 pairs. Like a main pair and the backup pair candidate that can switch to something else at a moment's notice.
But the 1 goes anyways, and I'm like, oops. We get the 8, which is great.
Draw.
And now the 1 comes out, but it's too late. Because now I'm like...
Yeah, you could be Tempai here with the 1 as your pair on the 3 pin.
Exactly.
But as it is, you still have a very wide Ijan 10, and you might even get a better weight if you draw 3 pin or 5 pin or even 2-4 pin. All those would be great draws.
Yes. South wind, north wind, none of them are helping. We get the 5, and I don't go reach, but I am Tempai on that 3 pin.
this is a discussion point. It's been a couple hands now, or several hands actually, where you've gotten the Tempai and like debated the Riichi. Early in the game, you reached that 5-mon, 9-mon Shampoo weight, and then more recently, you haven't been declaring Riichi. Is there a reason to not Riichi this?
I don't like the single tile weight.
Just
I don't have a Suji trap
pin.
on the 6s yet. I don't have any Pinzu discarded yet, really. So I think it would be pretty obvious that Pinzu is my weight. And then with only one Pinzu being my winning tile, I think it'd be very easy for someone to hide it. There was one hidden already revealed to the left, which means if they were to draw it, Travis, Shirako over here, then they might push it again, but I don't think there's any reason they would.
Now, you do have no Yaku, so what is your plan to win this hand other than just drawing the tile yourself?
Well, that's
like,
the thing,
is there a draw that is there a draw you could get that would make you Riichi? Improve it or something? I can only really see one tile that changes a lot here.
5-pin.
Yeah, the 5-pin.
I would love to get.
And then you have,
but that's really
multi-sided weight. Unfortunately, even with the 5-pin, your weight is going to be what, 3, 6 pin, and the 5-mon.
Yeah, and
but
that's the 6
pin is dead, as you noted, actually. So it's actually relevant. And then the 5-mon, I guess there are 2 5-mon left, but it's pretty easy for players to use 5-mon. It's unlikely there's more than one in the wall at this point. So I think your weight at that point is basically the 3-pin still, and then maybe an extra 5-mon. And at that point, you might as well just take the Riichi because you have so little improvement. Another tile that could switch your weight is if you say paired up the 2-pin, then you can Riichi on the discarding the 4-pin for a Shabo 2-pin 5-mon weight.
Right.
Same thing if you paired up the 4-pin, but I don't think that's any better than this weight. So I think Riichi while you have the chance to take the sticks. Okay, so Riichi came out from the left, and this was a really tough point decision because the Forso does not look safe at all.
I actually timed out on that one.
Okay, yeah, I think if you're going to drop it, you should drop it with the Riichi button.
Yeah, that was a timeout. I sat there looking at it for so long. I was like, "There's no way I'm dropping this 4." And I looked at the rest of my hand. I was like, "I don't see anything that jumps out at me as safe that doesn't throw away my Tempai."
Right.
Like, there's a 6 and the 3, obviously, but that breaks my shape here. There's no Pinzu at all in their discards. And I ain't going to drop anything close to the Dora. So my 2-4? No.
Yeah, I know. So folks who would say that the reason you're in this mess, where you're timing out because it's such a complicated decision, is because you didn't hit the button already and just let the computer discard for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, 3-pin comes out, we can't win.
And now I do it. Now that it's twice cut, I'm like, oh, people will push the 3? Okay, now's my chance at it.
Yeah, and of course, it's unlikely that Michael would have discarded it so easily had you declared Riichi before. But if you don't Riichi, you don't get that chance. And now it might be too late, especially because we haven't seen any pin tiles come out from Ada on the right. She is kind of likely to have a 3-pin in hand.
Yeah. Do you want to see real quick?
Sure. Oh, she wants a 3-pin but doesn't have it. Oh, she's Tempai on 2-pin, 4-pin. Oh, and you're holding it.
Which was lucky. I think we draw out this hand. Because I have a bad weight. He doesn't drop his second 3. He senses up to something with that.
Right. And ended up getting Tempai himself, so
on something.
Might as well spy it.
Whatever. That's bogus, but whatever.
Yeah.
He drew the 4 next to it.
If you declared Riichi, probably what happens is Michael doesn't drop the 3-pin. He gets to this endgame scenario and has to decide whether he should drop the 3 or not for Tempai. And might not do so. But because he managed to pass 3-pin first, he got Tenpai. So if anything, I think you might have missed out on just taking 1,000 points from Michael and having him drop to 4th here by not declaring the Ricci earlier. And if he did push the 3-pin, you would have won the hand too.
Yeah. But then we go to South 3. There's 5 Reach sticks in the pot. It's Honba 2.
And so notably, with 5 Ricci sticks, I'm pushing almost anything. I'm going to go so hard for this hand.
And we get a couple of shapes right off the bat.
Good.
I think I was looking at, like, just a fast Ricci was my best pattern.
Yeah, Ricci anything.
Yeah.
As soon as you get it.
So I got the 6, 7, 7. I've got my pair in the 5s. I got 8, 9, which I'll keep just because it's a block. And then I'm dropping 2-pin, 2 mon. 6, very luckily, Dora. And it's a Ryanman shape. I was happy to see that. We keep the 6, 6, 7, 7, which is now 3 pairs. But the 6, 6, 7, 7 can be like a double Ryanman if you want to look at it that way. You can,
right, like say you draw 2 5 mon, it's like 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah. And I think I might have even considered opening on like a toy shape, something like that.
So this is a very important spot.
I think this is a mistake, what I do. Wait. No, I don't think I mind that. All right, let's talk about this then.
Yeah, so you were just talking about how the 6, 6, 7, 7 shape could be, you could draw 6, make it an Anko and a pair, or you could draw up like 5, 8, make it 2 sequences.
Yeah.
And if we look at our shapes, we've got, that 6, 6, 7, 7 shape, which I'm going to call that 2 shapes. We have the 5-pin pair, which is 1. 7, 8, 9 is 1. 1, 2, 3 is 1. 6, 7 is 1. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Or
6 is too many, so we've got to drop one of them. And we're never going to drop the 6, 7 so shape because that's our door shape. It's a sequence shape. It's double sided. It's our best shape. So the options to choose from are this 5-pin pair and this 6, 6, 7, 7 shape, which is 2 shapes.
Yeah.
In this instance, the correct decision is to cut from the 6, 6, 7, 7 because if you drop the 5-pin pair, what is your ideal draw here for Tenpai? Because you're Ishanten, right?
Yeah. It would have to be... I lose the 5 and the 8.
Exactly, because the 7 or the 6 has to be your pair, so you have to draw another 6 or another 7 in order to get the good weight on the 5, 8 so. And if you drop instead one of those pairs, it doesn't really matter which one, then you still have the 5 or 8 as draws. And you also have the Anko draw as well. So you drop the 7 and you draw another 6. Well, then you have an Anko of the 6s. You can drop your 7 and you have a pair of the 5s still.
Yeah.
And so you're basically like locking in the 5s as your pair in most cases and taking your perfect Ishanten. Now, the 7-pin draw was amazing, but almost confusing because this 8-9 shape was when we were probably going to drop in the future, and then all of a sudden it filled, and you had to like rethink how this hand was going to be built.
And I know after dropping the 5, I noticed that the 5-8 disappeared. I noticed that these had to become opponent a pair now, and I'm like, oh, that's not great. I forced this into a Shabon weight by discarding this pair.
Right, and dropping, say, the 7 mon would just be like having a 6-7 with an extra 6 on it. So it's like the same as the so shape, but even better.
We draw the 2, which is fine. The 4 connects to the 5.
And this is another important spot.
I backpedal, I believe. I think I drop either my 7 pair or my 6s.
That would be the correct choice.
Oh, please. No.
You're committed to this mon shape.
I doubled down on the 5. That was my chance to get back in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's
to have that German shape.
With it. Oh, boy. Oh, that hurts. Hurts to see it again. With 5 sticks on the table, you throw that away. Oof.
Yeah, it's definitely good to hold your sequence weights, but there's still a chance you're still Ishanten. You just might have a bad weight when you get to Tenpai.
7 would have actually worked with the 5. If I had thrown the 4 instead, the 7 would have worked with the 5. But then you throw the 4, you're like, yeah, the pair 7s is what I wanted in this hand.
Yeah, I do like throwing the 4 over the 7. There's a chance that you can actually use the 7 here.
The 9.
I would hold the 9
over the 7.
over the 7 though, because it gives you. Remember how we lost the 8 mon as a draw?
Yeah.
But with that 9 in hand, you actually can use the 8 again.
And I noticed that after I dropped the 9, I was like, why did you keep the 7? That 9 brought the 8 back. And now, okay, so the 9 is the third strike you're out. I'm so tilted out of this hand after dropping the 5, then the 9. I've lost all hope for this hand. I'm like, yes, Ipeco, thank you. I found my saving grace. Because there's a chance I'm gonna get another 8 here.
Oh, when the second one comes out, that's so hard.
We still have a chance at the Ipeco. Come on. I've lost my mind. I draw the 3, I drop the 9. There's no way you're getting the 8, so give it up already.
Yeah, you should just throw the 3 back and pray for the 8.
The 3, at least I can build back into the shapes that I'm gonna guaranteed be Furitan for.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, is the 2d10 there.
7 comes out. I've got a red dragon for some reason.
It's safety.
We collect the 8, which is what we wanted. We
Back
would
to
have won on that
Ishantan.
8 if we had been playing correctly. Look, there's the 4, the 5, the 3, 7, 8,
Yeah,
9.
remember the 4-5 was getting the 4-5 was a mistake in the first place. So if you had played it, okay, so if I was playing this hand, I'd still be, I'd be Tempai now, but it'd be on the 5-8 mon, and so I wouldn't have won yet either. If you had recovered your mistake with the fourth, the
4-5 would have happened, right? Because
well,
we would have been back here, right?
mm-hmm.
Here. So we
Drop the 7.
dropped the 7 or the 6, right?
Right.
So you have a 6, 6, 7, 5, 5. Then the 4
and then
comes
you draw
in.
The 4, and then you get to choose. Do you like the 6, 6, 7, or do you like the 4, 5, 5? And maybe you would have chosen the 4, 5, 5.
Right.
Okay, I see. Yeah, if you did choose the 4, 5, you would have smoked. Yeah, that's a good point.
But
And
you're also
that's a tough
correct.
choice to
Like,
make, though.
yeah. Oh, this hand. This was a mess from start to finish. And I think this was my hand to lose. It sucks that it happened on such a pivotal one.
Yeah.
But the rest of the game kind of wore me down. I was mad at the end of this game, and this hand did not help.
Still a chance to find Tempai.
We
Please,
lose our
anything?
tune pair.
At this point, there's 7 draws remaining, so I would have cheat that 4 so that just came out.
Yeah.
For Tempai, as bad as it is, I do want to be able to win points at the end of this game.
Cheat a
Or at this
4, and
hand.
you have a Champon weight on the 1s and 6s, dropping the
And the
3
ones are
fin.
even dead, so and a 6 is 1. So you have 1 tile to win on. It has to be Haite, but at least there's a chance.
But it is Ryukyokyu, and it was something I was thinking about, was like, you've thrown the hand away, at least get your Tenpai out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even think I could see that the fact that would have made me Tenpai. I was lost. I was so confused at this point. Everything hurt.
Yeah, you do want to drop your safest tile there. I think 1 so is probably a little bit safer than this 8, but it passed, and Ada was the only one to Tenpai amazingly.
Yeah.
But that also means that the dealership continues.
Yes, it
and
does.
There's just another home button. All the 5-6 are there. So can we grab this one?
This was like my redemption, because I like the look of this shape. I've got the 2-3-4. I've got that 8-9-9. I can redeem myself on here.
Mm-hmm.
I got 5-6, 7-8, loose honors, and a 3. I'm super happy about this hand.
Yeah,
It
that's
also
very much
accepts
looks like a
Dora.
Pinfu hand.
Yeah. The north was my Yakuhai, but the south can be double south, and the reds are, reds.
For that reason, a lot of people drop the south first, and then the June, and then the north.
Mm.
Oh, sweet draw.
I love this shape even more now. I'm super happy that I dropped all my honors.
So you have all the blocks you need. You have a 2-3, a 2-3-4.
Yes.
This 8-9-9, 5-6, 7-8. Yeah, 5 blocks.
We get the 1, we cut the 8. No, we cut the 3 first, because the 8 can still technically do something. But we're looking to cut the 8, the 9's of the pair. This is a perfect shape.
We are
I'm as happy as a
Ishantan
clam.
here. Give us 1 tile. The only
Just
question
need
is going to
one
be, will you
tile.
reach your Dama?
The 5 comes out because it didn't fit in my hand, and it
Right.
gets pwned. I get the 4. We upgrade to a Peiko. 2 gets chewed. It's a pawn of 5, so 1, 2, 3. Don't you want the sticks? What are you doing?
It must be a Yakuhai.
Exactly. I lock in the 9s as the pair, and I keep flexibility on the 7, 8, 9.
This is the fabled perfect Ishanten. Now you can draw a 9-mon even into Tenpai. But you still have the 6-9 that you're looking for in the Sozu.
I just need to get to reach. The 3 doesn't help. Sumo to the left.
That is sad. You had a gorgeous hand in.
That was my
Hakun.
4-pin.
Yeah, there wasn't anything you could do there. You played the hand pretty much perfectly.
My luckiest hand, and it wasn't lucky enough.
So now we're in all last then, and your gap to first place is 1,200 points. So it's always important to determine what you'll need to win in order to surpass. If you take a 1,000 point Rowan off of anyone that isn't the dealer, it's not going to be enough, but 1,300 would be. So 1 in 40, Rowan would do it, or 1,000 point Sumo would do it. Because the dealer has to pay 500. 500, and then the others pay 300. Deal gains 1,600 points. So just be enough. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like you can do like an open hand here unless it's a Chanta.
Right. I'm also really stuck on this 8-9-9 shape because I want the 8 as my Dora.
Right.
But I love the double 9s as the pair, which would make me drop the Dora. And it's like, it's tough.
We'll see how your draws come together. At this point, it all depends on the draws.
I don't know if I was prepared to steal the 1,000 points to get to third. I think I was aiming higher than that. And I regret the decision, but it was in my head.
Yeah, we should talk about that, because even if you get the 1,000 points in third, you still will finish with a negative score. However, if you want a positive score, you need to make it over 30,000. So that means you need 6,800. It's essentially a Mongon is what you need. And so trying to build for Mongon is a little bit difficult this hand, but it is possible because you have a Dora. Richi, Dora, Sumo, Ura, that's how you do it.
Now, though, I see Itsu, and I think I lock onto it pretty hard. I believe the 5-pin comes out.
Yes.
And I can steal a 2, steal a 4, but if I wanted to get that above 30,000 points, then this is not... Open Itsu is not the way to do it. Itsu Dora is only 2k. That would be locking in my third.
And even if you ended up on a Dora pair, Itsu Dora 2 is still only 3,900 or 4,000 points. So you could do something like Richi Itsu.
If I get lucky enough to draw it. This passes, I believe. I do not take it, and I think that's a mistake.
If you're going for, the 1,000 points that it takes to pass Michael, maybe you pass it and drop the Dora. It is scary to drop the Dora against what the player to the right is doing, because they've called twice. And not only did they call, they also called on the 9-so first and then the Haku, which is very aggressive. They didn't have their Yakuhai confirmed. So they might have good shapes to back up that initial call. And they've also discarded a lot of middle tiles, so they're probably pretty close to Tenpai. In fact, I'm curious just how close to Tenpai they are right now. Ishanten, they need 1 tile, and the 8-pin would pass.
And they are hiding that door in there.
Yeah, it is scary to drop against them. Okay.
So now...
I can see what you're doing here.
I can too.
I think I like it. You said, it's hard to use the door in my hand if the 9-pin is my pair. I found an alternate pair, so I can just drop the 9-pin, lock in this door shape, and aim for Richi.
That is the thinking there. I found an alternate pair to lock in the Dora. So now I have reached Dora 1.
Yeah, and Sumo and Ura would be Mongon.
Khan on the 4-pin reveals 5, so to be Dora.
Oh, and they drop the 4 so immediately afterwards. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very scared that they're Tempai right now.
Mm-hmm. Ace gets pwned across, which is Yakuhai. It's not East round, but it is their seat wind. We draw
Scared
the
that
8.
Michael's close to Tempai too because they dropped the 1-3.
Mm-hmm. And we follow up on the 9. Now it's hard to use Adora.
I'm not sure about that one.
I think I was being defensive with it. The 9 had passed before, so I dropped it again, thinking it's still safe.
I see. Well, after Michael called across the table, the 9 passed before, but he changed his hand now, so could deal in now. I think I just like taking the Ishanten with the 3-mon or the 8, just throwing the 8-mon back. Probably the 3-mon here. Or you could drop the 9-mon instead, actually. That would be fine too. But the 2-mon is twice cut, so...
The biggest reason why this 9 is like a mistake is now I have a floating 8, and that's Dora. So if anyone is ever gonna like wait on the Dora, I really don't have a good way to use it anymore.
Right, and now you're gonna have to drop it if you find Tempai, unless your goal is to just pair it up. And so I do definitely think the best play here is the 3-mon and just keep your good mon shape. Take your Ishanten and fight for Tempai if you get there. Because you're in 4th place, if you deal in, I mean, you're going to be in 4th place anyway, right? Most likely, unless dealer happened to pay out. So I think you should fight for it here.
One last point.
3-mon as a discard is safe to both the players.
Exactly. Defensively, it's safe to both players who are double open. You maybe even call that 3 open with Ada having those 4s revealed.
Right.
So it's safer than the 9s even though the 9s passed the turn before, the 3 is still the safer discard.
Absolutely.
And it keeps good shapes in my hands and give me a chance to win. Green 3. I drop a 1. I'm folding out at this point. I guess I see all these open shapes and I'm like, I have no chance anymore.
I guess with a fold, you're saying, please, Ada, hit Michael so I can get 3rd.
Yeah,
or you're
I'd really
saying,
appreciate that.
Michael, it's okay if you win because we'll go again.
That too.
But I think you should still, if you're going to fold, at least fold with the 3 so that you can have a chance at finding... Oh, I guess after the 9-pin, you have less chance of finding Tempais, so...
We connect the 3 to the 1, so I feel better, but I'm still looking for safe tiles to discard, so I'm just dropping my 1s, my 3s, my selves.
Yeah.
I think the 2 came out across, so I'm happy with the 2 now.
After the 1 so came out, your hand kind of died, so it's best to just, follow players. You could be Tempai here, notably, on the 7-pin. Or even... you could be Tempai for Dora Tonki, too. If you were pushing.
Right. But we chose not to. We see the 8 come out, which feels a little good. Because we've kind of worked our way back towards something. Despite the circuitous route. 5 gets pwned. Now it's very scary. And I'm not going to drop Dora into Tonki.
But 1-mon wasn't even safe there. They could have dropped that from a 1-2 shape. So I think just following is correct. 2-mon is safe, 8-mon is safe, 3-mon is safe.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't drop the 8 first.
Yeah, at least the 8 first. That way, if you draw into Tempai, you could fight with a 1-mon.
I think I saw the amount of Manzu on the table, and I said there's like no way it can be the 1. And then it was also terminal and like yada yada yada. But just going from like actual 100% safeness, the 8 was a better discard.
Really, the only thing that one could deal into is a Tonki, but that is a Tonki, so
it is. That's a good point. There's any hand to get hit on with a 1, that would be it. But we draw out. It was a Dora Tonki wait, and there was a 6-7 over there. So bad news all around.
Yeah, it looks like you work it with his hand, but one thing to consider when you're folding is to fold in such a way that you're still dropping very safe tiles, but still giving yourself a chance at Tempai. In the end, you actually got kind of close to fine tempi, even though you dropped the entire 1-2-3 block. But that was enough loss in efficiency that you had to pay out the 1500 here.
Yep. And it's really not something I wanted to have happen, especially with Michael getting that 150
right
from me. Now it's like 4,200. I'd have to hit him for... I need to hit him directly for... Tuhan would do it with the Homba, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, Tuhan was enough if I hit him directly with a Homba.
And 3Han Sumo is enough.
3Han from anywhere else is fine as well. And I think I get there in this hand. Yeah, I think I end up on Chitoy with this.
Actually, 240 Sumo is enough too. With the Homba.
I keep the east and the north over the 6.
I feel like you are hedging a Chitoy possibility. I really like this play. Because the 3-4 is already a good enough shape. Oh, rewarded.
Yes.
So you're just going Chitoy.
Now it's confirmed I'm going Chitoy, and I like my east. I like my 3 and my 4.
Yeah, Chuso is saying, well, maybe it still turns into something else. Although you already passed the Haku. I think if you're really committing all the way, you drop the 4 Mon now.
I just didn't think that the Haku had enough.
What in the world is going... 3 calls?
Yeah. And now my Chitoy looks real stupid. But I get the east, immediately reach. I'm Suji'd on the 3. I'm like, yeah, that's scary, but this is the best I've got. I'm already in last. Just kill me. And the 9 comes just to be like, you could have. You could have done something.
No, this is actually insane for you. I don't know how you got here with the multiple calls, but... Come on, believe in Suji.
No. This is the hand where nobody's going to push ever. The 6 gets cheat. Now she's for a 10 on the 3 as well. Come on. We're double Suji for 3 Mon. Nothing, 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 nothing. Nothing, 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 nothing. Sumo.
So, I guess
no.
I see why you weren't getting extra.
I got up and walked away after this one.
That is so unfortunate. This was your comeback hand.
I was like, of course you have a pair of the 3s. Of course you do.
I don't even want to see if we would have hit Uda.
Well, too bad, because now we're going to. No.
No, we would always miss
so.
those. But it would have been enough for you to surpass for back to 3rd place.
There are no other 3s. Ada had all of them. So, I mean, someone else has 1 3 somewhere. Let's see who had it. It's to the left.
Yeah, on its Sumo, it would have been enough.
Possible it would have come out.
Direct hit up from Michael.
With the Chitoy, I think. The Chitoy reach, I think, was the 3 Han I needed. I think that was good enough to hit anybody.
Well, it's 3 and 25, which is 3,200. And then the Homba makes it 30,500. So just be a little short from the other players.
Oh.
But if you Sumo, it's 6,400. That's enough. Or if you hit Michael directly, it'd be enough too.
No,
I think if it came out from the other players, you take the Ron anyway and just hope to flip Buddha.
Yeah.
Because it is a bad weight. And if you start to pass up, you can only run 3 tiles. You pass up 1. There's only 2 left. It's hard to find the Sumo there.
But as it is, Ada Sumo's the 3 pin, the last one in the wall. Of course she would. On a Kanchan weight.
So goes the game of Mahjong and finishes us in 4th. Well, our opportunities were a little bit earlier.
Someone else would have gotten it and dropped it. But if
all in all, go ahead.
No, it's just misery.
The 6-0, I was so scared when you drew this.
Yeah, I was too.
That feels like it deals in a lot. And it passed, fortunately, and then you saw Sumo happen instead. But all in all, I think a couple takeaways are...
I want to see this hand from the beginning. I want to see Ada's decisions with her. Like, did she start with those 3s? Yeah.
So yeah, I am curious how this developed, because they were snap calls.
So she's got her pair, and then green and red.
Oh, there's even like Chanta, Sanchoku.
Yeah, so that's why she kept the 3s. I think that's a good choice. It's just unfortunate that it was, and that's why the 1, 2, 3 came out. She's going,
Right.
Yep. The 6,
Not even worried about Otozuke because she can get the Hatsu
Yep.
or the Chun.
Gets the Chun, drops the South. She's got a pair in the greens. Yeah. There's no way those 3s are coming out.
Yeah, this is just Tenpai.
There it is.
You've gotten one discard out of or it looks like you've done one discard, and it's just Tenpai.
And you can say that, like, oh, she got lucky on the Kanchan, but she upgraded from the Penchan, so
Right.
that's, again, just a smart Mahjong play.
Yeah, you also got fortunate to have Tenpai on your turn 3,
Yep.
essentially.
Draws the 4, upgrades to the 1. I'm sure if she had gotten the 5, she would have taken the 2-sided.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't need it because she sumoed on the 3 anyways. Right about here. It is what it is.
Yeah. What I would say is for building your hands, like especially when you're Ishan 10 or Dianshan 10, two tails or Tenpai, think about your pairs in particular. Be flexible with your pairs, because that's usually where it's good to where you have 2 pairs and some they can switch around. And the other thing is when you're folding, also take into consideration. Well, I was going to say suggest like Mawashi a little bit, but sometimes it's good to just straight up fold. But if you have an opportunity to make a safe discard that preserves your Ishan 10, feel free to make that. And just the other tile that's very safe is going to be safe in the future as well. So you might as well keep the Ishan 10 if you have a chance.
That's true. All right, well, that's it for that game.
And -25 fourth place is not a bad fourth place. That's like a very average one.
It is.
You get that type of fourth all the time when you just don't get lucky with any hands and get sumo to death.
I was focused on my standings this week, though, and the -25 was like half the progress we made from last week, so it was pretty bitter to take this fourth, especially after the obvious mistakes we made on some of those hands.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Did you want to look at the second game or just leave it?
I can certainly take a look. Do we have time for that?
Yeah, we can do. Just keep on going. Let me see if I can just pull it up. There's -25. Should just open it right now. I love that magazine cover.
I hope they find a new ad soon.
You can't play it at work.
Yeah, I do some commentary for ARML, and I always switch the screen whenever we're pulling up the games.
Yeah, let me make sure OBS has still got the same screen. All right, we're all good there.
Okay.
All right, let me set it to my view. Now this game went better. You can see it right there. We ended up second with +7 points.
Okay.
Luck was on my side. We took a couple of fast hands for momentum. I think we might have had a second dealer run even. And then we coasted from there, which is like my preferred play style. So our first hand opens up. It's a stretch to Dora, but we got a 1-3, a 4-4-5 I'm looking at, a 4-5, and then some honors. Not a great high pie.
3 blocks and some floaters.
The white goes, so I match.
Still 3 blocks, but an improved one.
The 6 now connects to the 7 and accepts that 5 I was looking for.
4 blocks and Dora acceptance now.
South goes away. It's not my seat or anything. Ooh, East.
Ooh, sweet. All right, you got 5 blocks now.
And now I can open. So I'm looking for things I can pwn, chi, and backup pairs for my East.
It's funny you have 3 of similar blocks: 6, 7, 7, 4, 4, 5.
Yeah.
4, 5, 5. All very good blocks.
I thought for a second Chitoy, but you know I hate Chitoy, so that thought was very quickly extinguished. And I wouldn't be able to open on the east.
Yeah, this hand is too good for Chitoy.
Yeah, opening on the east is like my play here.
Yeah, it's funny. We looked at the high pie and said, not amazing, and 5 draws in, all of a sudden is very good. This was an interesting choice, deciding whether you're holding the 1-3 or the 5-7.
Yeah,
in my mind, I would prefer holding the 1-3 because I like the 4-4-5 as a shape, but because you have so many other backup good shapes, this isn't so bad.
Yeah, it's weird to pick up the 5-7 shape, I guess I would call it, over the 1-3, which is already there.
Right. The only reason that I think this is not so good is because you've already dropped the 8-9. So if you draw the 8, you usually have an upgrade Diabin shape.
Yeah.
But now you'd be 50-10 on that. So I think I prefer the 1-3 in this instance, but
I think I realized that and worked my way back.
And now that you've drawn the east, it's basically equivalent.
Yeah.
Kang.
Ooh. This is not a standard play, but I see you're getting a little aggressive with the diamond cons.
I wanted people to know that I was ready without going reach.
Yeah, you don't get to reachy here, which is the unfortunate part.
And also, my strategy is if I'm going to open, I'm going to open like hard and fast.
Okay.
So, especially with like the patterns, we were talking about the good patterns. I was confident I'd be able to chi and pwn everything I needed. Chi. So,
and also good decision in choosing the 7 onto discard, because you always want to hold this door 6-mon instead of breaking away from the 4-5-5 shape. Yeah, this is the correct way to do this.
And I felt good about conning the east because of my other shapes.
Chi.
Now we chi. Now we're tenpai on east door 1. And it's because we opened on that con even. So it did work out.
Ah, you're talking about the Dora, yeah. Oh, well, now that's a Ricci, I feel less happy about the con. But the 8-mon is safe to the Ricci player, so it comes right out and you get to win.
Exactly. East door 1 for 3,600. I don't remember how that happened. Oh, because of the 2 sticks, right?
Yeah, there's a Ricci stick that gives you an extra 1,000, and then the extra 600 is because you have Fu from the con.
Yeah.
That's 16 Fu, so that upgrades it from 230 to 240.
240, 2,600 points. Not too bad. Should do that more often. But yeah, so that was the
game's already starting out well.
First hand, I look at this, I'm like, ooh, that's good too. Got the double reds I can open there. So then I have an Anko of 2s. I got a 6-7 Ryanman. I need to pair somewhere, but we'll see what happens.
Yep, 3 blocks right now.
I'm not Northwind, so I get rid of it. They follow up. I'm feeling good. Drop the floater 1 pin. Oops, that's too bad.
Small backfire. Yeah, 9 so is a little bit worse than the 1 pin in this hand. But just because you have a 6 already. 9-6. Usually drop the 9. Same with 1 and 4. You drop the 1.
Now the 4 connects to the 6, so I'm happy dropping that 9.
4 blocks now. And really anything could be your pair after you call the red dragon.
We open.
This is very aggressive.
Adozuke, I believe it's called.
Yes. You have no confirmed Yaku. You need the Chun here.
And there it comes. We trade the east for the red. And now I'm feeling happy.
Holding the 2 so and the 6 so because you really are looking for an upgrade.
I'm looking for a block anywhere. Please, God, give me a block. There it is.
There it is.
The 2 comes out easy as... There's the 5. We're tenpai.
Sweet.
Each.
Oh, not so sweet. And they dropped Dora
on the Dora, which is like the only good part about that. Like at least their hand is 1 cheaper.
It definitely makes it less scary, and you just fight, okay?
I have a hand. I have to.
It's also very difficult to fold with standing. What's safe?
Yeah, right?
Don't.
There's the 7. We're out of here.
All right, stealing another Ricci stick always feels nice.
And this is where I'm happy. I'm like, I've gotten 2 sticks, 2 wins, 3, 5, 6. Nobody else is above 30. This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
And I think this is where Travis goes on a bit of a run. Oh,
Friso is already interesting. Are you pushing for a Honitsu here?
I think I was.
Yeah,
At the very least, hedging it.
A bit too much of a stretch for me, but
yeah, because they're all loose honors, right? That's not what you're looking for with a Honitsu
you're not
hand.
losing too much from dropping 1 and waiting and seeing.
I could have dropped the north and the west.
Yeah, maybe like start with the north and just see what happens. Okay, now it's not Honitsu.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, the 3 was a mistake. I'm sorry. The 4 comes out, and I even keep that. I'm like,
now we're just playing efficiency.
Exactly.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks and a floater.
We see the 2 norths. We see the whites. 8 connects to the 9 for a nice 8-9-9 shape. And we drop the 8 right away.
Boom.
So it looks like you're confirming the 9s as a pair and saying, I just want to hold some more safety here.
Yep. The 5
excellent.
connects perfectly, and I'm happy as a clam.
5 blocks, they're all good.
There's the 8. Immediate Ricci. This is my kind of reach pin fu opportunity. Early pressure. I got there first. Everyone else has to. Oh, Roan.
Okay. Yeah. Scary when you hear the Ricci. Not so scary when the Ricci tile is the
Is the winning tile, yeah. No stick because of it, but the Ura is quite lucky.
Yeah, what's that? I thought you never hit Ura.
I don't.
We didn't see anything.
Now this is the hand I lose now.
This is a stinker.
It is.
Is it Kokshi?
No.
If 8 in a pair?
It
feels like...
I think I dropped my 9. I dropped my green, and I'm like, maybe it could have been, but like, no.
A couple thoughts when you have this type of hand is play towards Honitsu, and maybe you end up with Kokshi. You back into it.
Yeah.
The other option is to play for like a Chanta type hand. You can work your way that way, but usually you start with this Tuso or the honors and just see what happens.
Yeah, and the green comes out early. I think it's possible I could have looked at Kokoshi. I think you're right there, but it would have meant dropping my 5. Because I think I really don't want to drop 7-8.
Right, you cut the 7-8 right here and just say, this is Honitsu where I'm folding, or you cut the honors like you're doing. And if you've decided that you want to have a chance to win the hand and you don't believe the table's going to be scared by a Honitsu, fake Honitsu, then this is fine.
I don't think I could have scared anyone at this table.
Yeah, this table's pretty aggressive.
But things are coming together after our slow start.
Yeah, you picked up another block.
The 1 is a Dora. I'll keep that. And then it's like, I think the 1 was where I was like, oh wait, could this have been Kokoshi?
Yeah.
Ricci.
So when you have such a bad start like that, you anticipate an early Ricci, and that's exactly what happens.
And I'm ready to get out of here. The 9 is Genbutsu. The 7 is Genbutsu. I'm full folding, and I have the perfect defense for it. I'm in first place. I've got a huge lead over everyone else. There's no reason I should get hit on this hand.
Yeah, that's
because it's going to throw away all my work.
Your hand is so far away from Tempai as well, so this is totally fine to play full safety instead of trying to, Mawashi like we were talking about in that last game.
The white is perfectly safe. And I think I'm looking for my next safe tile even. I'm like, okay, the 9 came out. And then I'm like, the north's technically pretty safe, but possible.
If it deals in a lot of time, it's cheap.
Yeah. Now this comes out, and I'm like, well, the 9 is safe to both of them. Sumo to the right. Yes, let's go.
Yeah, surprise. The 2 Ricci hands, that's not the one that's winning. And it wasn't, Michael didn't declare Ricci because it was a kind of rough wait, but did end up stealing some points away in that hand, so.
Yeah.
Got Michael over 3,000.
For Tateniu.
Yeah, a little
And the
sad
sumo
you
was
lose
a
your
little
dealership, but it was minimal pain if you only 1,000 points.
Right. Do you want to see how bad it would have been? Maybe.
Ooh, with a Ricci.
Hand. So we had a 5 and a 1. 1 mon 5 so wait over there.
Okay.
I've got 2 of them. And it's a 3 6 so on the left here.
Okay, Ricci Pinfu. Oh, you might have dealt into Toyman eventually on the 1 because the 4 mon came out from Michael, so it became Suji. It's very safe tile.
Hopefully I would have had the
surprising.
wherewithal to drop the north first.
Right, Norths are safe.
Sumo.
Not much left after that, though.
Yeah.
And this was definitely the better of the 2 options.
Yep.
All right.
So we lose our dealer seat, but we're still in first. Hi pie.
You have 4 to 5 blocks. Not good floaters, but one of them is a Dora, and that's promising.
Yeah. So these honors aren't doing anything for us. The 7 is perfect. We drop our 1.
Now confirmed 5 blocks with Itsu chance. Oh, forget Itsu. You have too many pairs here, so I don't mind this.
I break the 1. I was ready for it this time. I've recognized the shit that had happened in the last game. I'm like, don't do it again. Drop the 1s.
Pong.
West gets pwned, and I don't think that meant anything, except I noticed that it wasn't Yakuhai.
That's important.
Yeet.
Oh, and Dora came out from the right, but the Ricci comes out from the left.
Exactly. And I think that was enough to scare me. So I dropped the 9, which is Genbutsu, to the 2. I now have 6s that are also safe, so 9, 9, 6, 6, north.
Long.
And the 3 is the win.
Curious what Michael or what Ada had across the table.
2s and 3s were the win to the left. Honitsu
Honitsu.
waiting on the whites.
Ishan 10 really preferred getting the whites there for that extra value.
Yeah.
Would have been Mongon.
But that's
That's
a
an
very wide
understandable-
acceptance.
Right. I think.
And it's into the Dora suit too.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong hand. It's understandable why it got pushed.
Yeah.
Okay, but you didn't deal in, so that's fine for you.
Exactly. Reach or a 1, it's nothing. And I'm just happy to see the dealer seat moving around. And that I'm not
Okay.
getting hit. So I open up Dora Ryanmen, turn that into a Kanchan, a set block, and some floating honors.
All right, four blocks is a pretty good high price, so we'll see how this develops.
Happy as a clam, get rid of these honor tiles. 1 connects to the 2, 3, even better.
There's even Itsu chance here again.
1 Mon comes out,
Fine.
thinking maybe we'll connect something to that 8, or not. Green is paired with our green in the discards. 8 is thrown back right away.
So I think we should keep this. Why? We are missing a pair in this hand.
We do still need a pair.
Yeah,
And
and so
that'll
if we
become
draw
obvious
something like
in a
the
moment.
5 or the 7, we can drop the 9 and use the 8 as the pair. The Chun might be able to use it, but maybe not.
I think I had a reason for protecting the Chun. I didn't want anyone to have a fast Yakuhai hand. But
We haven't seen any yet.
right, there's also kind of a logic to let that happen. If either Travis or Ada want to score that red only, I'm fine with that.
Right.
Not Ada, because that would continue her
particularly
dealer seat.
Travis.
If he wants to score 1,000 points, that's fine. I actually want him to do that. But I keep the red safe for a turn.
But in the 8-pin does have a purpose in our hand. So just from our own offensive perspective, it's good to have that.
Right. And now there's no way I'm doing anything with that that's worth more than protecting a red. And it's the worst case scenario. Ada draws the pawn of reds. And so now she has a fast path to continuing her dealer seat.
It is open, so it's probably a little cheaper. But if it has Dora 2, perhaps it could be expensive.
We get the 8 back. We can recover our mistake.
Yes, although here we would be Tempai if we kept the original 8. But this is a very wide Ishanten. It could leave us with Hudi 10, but we got the good draw.
Yeah. So now,
And now I'm
it's
curious if you
Pinfu.
reach your Dama.
I believe I Dama.
Yeah,
the reds
reach
are
is
open.
standard, but I know some players like to Dama here. There are 2 4s out and 2 7s, so the weight isn't very
that
strong.
might have been why I didn't even. I think I looked around and I saw that and I was like, it's not that great of a weight anymore.
And you do have a Yaku. You can win your 2,000 point hand.
Now, do I change it?
1
No.
Yeah,
I think I saw this as a mistake when I made it.
yeah. One of these is a mistake. Either taking the Dama on the first turn is the mistake, or taking the Ricci here. Because if you have reason to Dama before, I think that reason probably hasn't changed at all. And if you think Ricci is good here, then it probably was good on the last turn too.
Mm-hmm.
You just missed 1 turn chance at Ipatsumo.
Yeah.
Unless you're timing Ipatsumo on the next draw. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, if you're going to Ricci, if you're going to Dama, stick with it unless you have a particular reason to change, and I don't see anything that's come out that would change my decision.
If I had taken the 5-8 weight, it would have been for a 10. So we definitely do need to stay on the 4-7, even though I don't like the number of tiles left for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that reach was a good idea. I think maybe even drop the 5, 5, 6 and see what else I get. If I'm gonna go full crazy on it.
1
No, I think you hold your Tempai and you just Dama. Oh, but now there's a Ricci, so
Yeah.
maybe you'd be able to fold here if you have.
Now I feel real bad about the reach.
Oh, it's a terrible
Immediate
tile.
3.
Oh, it passes. Okay.
And
That's like the
Michael's
second
like,
worst
oh
draw."
wow, crazy, okay.
Oh, and here, if you hadn't Ricci, you might even catch somebody on a 7. Because it's safe to the Ricci on the left.
Sumo.
So he
But-
sumos. And this is the big one.
Ooh.
Reach, sumo, pinfu, Tanyao, Dora, Ura 2.
Yikes.
Because of the 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6 pattern.
At least you weren't the dealer, but Ura 2 is
Yeah.
the real painful
I
thing.
it hurt to see it. It didn't actually. It pushed them into Haneman, but it didn't push them into Baimon. If they had
Right.
gotten one more Yaku, it would have really been
Yeah,
nuts.
Ipatsumo would have been terrible.
But I was like, oh man, all my hard work, and then he gets Ura 2, and it's like, well, it is what it is.
Yeah, you'd still.
I'm still
you'd be at
happy with
5.
this game. I'm still happy with this hand.
Yeah, you'd be 100 points behind if you hadn't done the Ricci.
Mhm.
But I don't think the Ricci per se is wrong. Just the timing of the Ricci could
Yeah.
have been 1 turn sooner.
And then I look at this hand, and I'm like, I'm still aiming to end the game positive. So
Right.
I think I looked at Tanyao, and I was like, I have shapes to Tanyao.
9, so it's good first cut. 9. Oh, sure.
So
that's pretty good too.
ポン
the greens get pwned. And I don't want this to happen because Travis is dealer.
Right. You don't want him to extend that lead any further.
But I also am in second place. I don't want to get hit by him.
Right.
So it's a little bit of both. A little bit of danger on both ends, no matter what I do. The one connects, but I lose my Tanyao, but it's better to have a connection than not, so
It's Dora too, so it's
That's
not terrible.
true.
You're actually Ishan 10 right now. You have
Yes.
get a 5 mon and a 5 pin.
the one comes out because I like the shapes and I'm very close to Tenpai.
Oh,
This does not do it, but I will push for Tateniu.
Okay. That's a respectable choice.
The one had come out to the left as well, so I think that
Right.
also helped with that decision.
Ooh. Oh, here it's a slightly more efficient to discard the 6 mon.
Yeah, I agree. The 6 isn't actually part of any block yet. It
Yeah, you have
could turn into like a 3-sided weight if you get lucky and draw the 5, but that actually makes you ferritin on the 1, the 4, and the 7.
yeah. The only good draw there is the 7 mon, and you already have 5 blocks.
Or
And
the 6.
It's
It's like,
pretty good. Well, yeah.
meh.
That 6 is just as good as any of your other pairs. So yeah, 6 mon definitely the efficient cut here. Now, if you're worried about it dealing in, which I'm not worried just yet, I haven't seen anything really from Travis that says, or Srock over there that says that this is Tempai.
Here's the other thing. If you are committing to opening this hand, or committing to leaving that option on the table, having the pair of 6s gives you a pawn option, which
Right.
can steal from anybody. The single 6 can't steal from anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
And now this chi can only steal from the left.
ポン
The Ryeonman shape, the 6/7 with one tile attachment, like 6/6/7 or 6/7/7, is super powerful and flexible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now there's a pawn and a middle tile cut, so it's more likely that Travis's Tempai and the 6 mon is more dangerous here.
リーチ
Richie across on the 8 so. I don't chi
Okay.
it. And I think I'm afraid because of the 8. And
you
the
can
hand to the left.
chi for Tempai and wait on the Genbutsu 5-pin, but 5-pin has only 2 left, so it might not even be held by the players, and not to mention they might not drop it.
Mm.
So it looks like you're just planning to fold here. The question is, can you fold? With what are you going to fold?
That's a good question. Good question indeed. The 4.
4 is safe. You get 1 turn. Oh, there's the 5.
Right.
So if you'd been able to pass the 6, you probably would have won this hand.
2 over there. And 7s and 5s over here. The 6 would have passed.
Yeah, but it definitely didn't look safe.
It did
And
not. No,
so
it didn't.
from your position, I can understand taking the passing the chi.
3-pin.
So you're saying I can see 3 2s, 3 5s. It's so hard for anyone to use the 3-pin. Plus, if it passes, then I can pass it 2 more times safely.
Exactly.
ロン
And the 7 comes out. That's the roan.
Yeah, you did well to not deal in on the 2 mon.
Mm-hmm.
That tile should have been pretty safe as well, but it wasn't.
And unfortunately, Travis did get another deal around, but I was pretty committed to something happening that wasn't involving me. Open on the west is not Yakuhai.
ポン
Open on the east is still not Yakuhai. But
Definitely
now it
feels
looks
like a
like
Horitsu.
something. Yeah.
Your draws are coming together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks.
Yeah.
That's very good. Oh, wait, we hold on to that, right?
The 8?
The 8 mod. So why do we hold on to this?
Because I have a red in my hand.
Well, that, and also you have no pair guaranteed. The 7 so could be your pair, but that doesn't have to be, because you could make like a 6-7-8, 6-7-8, right? In Ipeco.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the 7 mon Anko could be thought of as a 7-7 pair and another 7 plus this 8 Yamen shape. So that allows you to make really good use of a 6 or another 9.
Mm-hmm.
Or, a 6 or a 9. So I would hold on to this just in case we're able to use that Manzu shape as 2 blocks instead of this Chun. However, if we were closer to Tempai, and it would be less necessary to hold on to this 8 mon. But since we have better tiles to discard, I think we should hold on to it.
Yeah.
チ
Okay, opening for Tateniu.
Yep.
Ishanten.
リーチ
Ah, that's fast.
It is.
And we have 8 so Genbutsu, but North should be pretty safe. Playing the safe tile.
Yep. Now the 7 is safe. So that's another tile I can discard.
Dora's come out twice, and so this hand's probably not too expensive. And maybe that's why you pushed this. Oh, the 7 did come out, you're right.
Yeah, 7 did come out. But I'm gonna have to push something here, and for a three-sided weight, I think I'm willing to do it. Oh, two-sided technically.
Right, it's three-sided, but you can't win on the 9. But still, Sozu looks pretty cheap, so we might see it come out.
But I think of all the tiles that could get hit on, I think Pinzu is pretty dangerous at this moment.
Lower to middle Manzu and lower to middle Pinzu's not good, but
Long.
And of course the 2 does get hit. And it's from the person I didn't want to get hit by.
Yeah.
And it was enough to knock me below, not quite below 30, but this was bitter.
Yeah, I think it's a worthwhile fight to take though, because you really don't want them to win the hand, and if you can win this hand and steal those points away, even though it's just 1,000 points plus a home bond, a Ricci stick, if you hit them directly, you are so close to overtaking.
Yeah.
It is painful to lose points here, but I think it was a justifiable push.
Long.
I looked at that too, and I was like, this is going to get me killed though. And it was. This hand is interesting.
Yeah, what are you going to do with those 8 pins?
You know exactly what I'm going to do with those 8 pins. The question is when.
Right.
And my logic here was I want to have only Tateniu tiles when I con. Because I want to make sure that I've finished all my like efficient discards first and seen like what my hand looks like before I decide to remove all these 8s from the game.
I agree. I think usually the normal decision point is when you're Ishan 10, you take the con.
Okay.
Because at that point, your hand is pretty much set. And a big question is going to be what happens to this Dora? White Dragon.
I think as soon as I get like even close to like a Tateniu hand, I'm like, no. And it goes. And I'm like, well.
Oh. That's super scary.
Open Mangan from the dealer. It's like,
if there's a way to fall down in the standings, it's this with a 12,000 point hand on the left.
Yeah. But I dropped the South. The South was safe. But remember,
and we're not actually worried that they're Tempai yet. It's very rare that they're Tempai this early.
Yeah, I wasn't worried about Tempai yet. They
are starting to drop like a 9-8 whole shape, means they might have a better shape than a 9-8.
Yeah. This is where the con comes in.
Okay, Ishan 10, you conned.
We get the 9-pin, whatever.
You flip the 6-0 to be Dora, but it's hard to use that in your hand without drawing around it very soon.
Yeah, the 9 gets pwned, and with the 9 and the 1, now I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Looks like a Junchan, I guess.
I sure hope so, and nothing else, right?
Yeah, Shinroto's still in the cards.
Always in the cards. We break the 3 off the double 2.
The fission cut here, of course, is the 6-0, but it looks like you didn't want to drop
6
the Dora.
Is Dora. There's always a chance with it, right?
Right. Okay. If
and
that's
I'm also
the case,
thinking,
I'm satisfied with the cut.
I guess
there's Toy here, maybe.
The other possible thinking is maybe I don't want to like draw 1 and get locked in like that. But they're pwned over there. It's a very long shot that would happen.
Right.
Which means it's guaranteed to happen.
If you did end up in that situation, you would just drop the 3 later.
Yeah.
But you're just, preventing all that by getting rid of it right now. You know what? You would normally be missing out on the 4-0 draw by doing this, but you can use a 4-0. It connects to your 6.
Yep. This might be a mistake. Because I think I dropped 5-pin. I dropped 5-pin. I'm really hanging on to this Dora, aren't I?
Yeah, the fishing cut is the Dora. But maybe you've said in your head, I'm just ever dropping it. Ada could have Toy Dora 3 at this point, so I might be dealing to Mangan over there. Yeah, this is a pretty rough position.
I think there's also like a fear in my mind, like if I'm going to be pushing against open Mangan, I at the very least need to have a Dora in my hand so that I'm like on the level. Otherwise, I'm going to get hit for nothing, and I'm going to look like a big dumb idiot for pushing Tateniu against open Mangan.
That's like a psychological thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, you're open and you have so little defense against that hand. I think it's appropriate to play as efficiently as possible because the most important thing is that you end this hand. It's even more important than the value that you win with. It's just that you don't let Travis win, and even more importantly, don't deal in yourself. And because you have no safety, it might be more important to fight with nothing than as quickly as possible than to try to force this door into the hand.
Yeah.
Pom.
So now we
pull.
pwn the 5s. We finish off the 3 pin, which I'm feeling better about because there's enough 2s and 5s and 6s on the table. I don't think anybody's like looking for Pinzu.
Yeah, that seems fine.
And it keeps the door that I've already committed to like do or die on. And I have this like soft 6 I can throw away, or maybe I make a double Ryanman and drop the Dora finally.
Yeah, importantly, you didn't con that. That would have been a big mistake.
Yeah. No, I definitely knew I didn't want to con it. I think I actually waited a very long time to pwn this 5.
There's a chi option, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah,
You had
it
to
was
think,
there.
like,
I had to think about that too.
I do think pulling is the best option, though.
That's what I eventually decided on. And there's that 4. That's what I wanted. The 6 comes out, which is a push. But I'm happy with that 5, so wait. I've got Tateniu Dora, I'm happy. And we immediately ruin it.
Oh, that's so fortunate. Now, I'm very curious. So if you look at the discards on the left, there's just Sumo Kitty for that entire row. Do you think that's Tempai, or do you think that's just Travis Ishanten hasn't drawn a tile?
I think that's Tempai.
All right, let's take a look. Ishanten.
Ishanten, he doesn't have a pair yet.
It's amazingly wide. How did he not
literally
draw a pair?
anything? Actually, the 3. No.
Yeah. Any so tile from 1 through 7 would have given Tempai.
He dropped the.
This is a big backfire.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I would have started dropping Sozu from that.
Oh yeah, you don't drop. Well, you mean Pinzu?
No, like Sozu.
Oh yeah. You never.
He
drop
drops
Sozu.
his 2. He pulls a 2. He's like, throw it back.
Yeah.
And I think that's the right play. It just ends up being silly.
Yeah.
Because then there comes a 6, and you're like, well, we're committed now. And then you get the 9. That's nothing. But like, the 2 comes back. There was the pair you were looking for.
It's incredible that Travis actually doesn't find Tempai here.
Pom.
The odds of this happening are so low. He was really counting on Ada finding another 9-mon because we can see she doesn't want it. And Michael is just holding them all.
Now, again, like this 3, you could think that it would be a choice, but there's a 3 over here. He's already dropped the 6.
So it's 50-10.
It would be Furitan if he kept it. So the 3 has to go back, even though that looks like it would improve the hand. There's a 6. There's a 9. So this is getting like all stuck up. There's a 7 over here.
Wrong.
And the 5 comes out. He's like, well, what are you going to do?
Exactly. What more can you do?
I definitely think that was the way to play it. Just unfortunate. So I get a steal. It's my final dealer round, and I don't want it. I want someone else to win, and not on me. Preferably Travis.
But this is your chance to take first in this game. We'll see how the draws come in.
Yeah, I definitely also respect the fact that I can get a hand here.
It looks like with that 2 cut, you're still like holding these honors in case you have to fold.
Yeah, or like Yakuhai
is
a good path to another dealer's seat. The south is South Wind. The white is White Dragon.
And you're 2 away from Tempai here.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. Yep.
There comes the 3, which I'm happy to see. I like that 1-3-3.
Slight improvement in that shape. You can draw a 2 or a 3 for or 2.
The south skip pwn, double south, which is not ideal.
No.
because
that gives Michael a very real chance of passing you.
of passing me, especially if he hits me directly. So now, like, I wanted to win this hand. I wanted anybody to win this hand, but now I don't want anybody to win this hand except me.
Right.
The south comes out. No reason to hang on to that. And this is where things can get interesting. I know I didn't like the 7 because it makes it hard to use the 9. But I do see there's 2 8s out there.
And not just 2, the Dora indicator itself.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so hard to make 7, 8, 9 here. But are you willing to drop the 9 against the hand to the right?
No. I think I keep this 9 for a very long time, if I remember correctly.
8 just came out, which is a Dora connector. It might have come out from an 899 shape.
That's what I was thinking.
If he pulled Dora, I mean, you might even fall below 30,000. Forget just getting surpassed.
These 8s made me think they had like Dora pair, or they were going for like a Dora Tonki. Can I open real quick to see?
Yeah, sure.
There's a 5-6 and a 5-6. So they were just floaters.
Yeah, they had the other side of it. But it could have easily been that way. I think if you're still trying to fight this hand, but you've decided you're never dropping the Dora, the route to go is to drop 8-pin. And go for Chitoy.
I can see that, yeah. And I might even go back into it. Defensive Chitoy. We'll have to see what I draw. I take the 4 over the 1. The 1 was safe to the left, and the 4 was 2. Now, I drop a 3.
Okay, you're just Ishanten here, so it makes sense. I mean, the most efficient, of course, is the Dora, but you've already decided that it's very difficult for you to drop Dora. So maybe if you get Tempai, would you push it?
I don't know. I don't think I would. And another thing I noticed at the exact same time I made this 3 drop, I looked to see where all the 3s were, and I saw 2 of them out there. And I felt real bad about this shape all of a sudden.
Yeah, so here's your chance to pivot back into Chitoy then, if you don't think you're completing this hand normally.
Right. I did know that the 3s were safe, and I think now the 3 comes out. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, the Apeco's not going to work. Drop the 3. Now we have
if you
Anko
draw
pair
the last 8 so, you can fight.
But I'm still so nervous about this 9.
Right.
The 1s are safe to the left. The 2 doesn't do anything, but it's kind of safe. It's safe to the right,
Safe to
at
Michael.
least.
That's important.
8 Mon, 5 So. 5 So.
I like at this point in the hand, you are watching very closely what the other players are doing, because if you see anything strange, you want to just get out of here.
5 So. Green, green. Well, those are not the first greens, but the 7 comes in. I'm like, I don't see no 7s.
Yeah, 7's very bad. Especially to Michael, who just dropped an 8 on the right.
Yeah.
Now the 3 isn't much better.
The 3 isn't much better.
And I think if you're going to break your Tempai here, you just want to break it fully. Or not Tempai, but your Ishanten. Go full fold with the 2-so, 2-so, 2-so. Just say, I'm out. Yeah. And this is a situation, because you've already decided I'm never dropping the 9-so, it's basically impossible for you to get back into Tempai without dropping it.
Correct.
So then fold completely safely. If there's a chance to get back to Tempai reasonably, and that you want to be Tempai, then you want to, play around a little bit with half safe tiles and whatnot. But with a situation like this, there's no incentive to go for it. So maximum safety.
I think the 3 was I ran out of time and I clicked something like very quickly.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't going to drop the 7, which also wasn't going to drop the 4, but the 4 is safe across. I think the 3 really was not the right move. But I had not put 2 on my radar for dropping safely. I guess with the 5s, the 2s look really good.
Right.
And the 1s.
All the 3s are out
too.
Actually, that means that the 2-so is just Genbutsu.
The 2 is really safe. Yeah.
all the ones are out, all the threes are out, and you have all the twos except for the one that's been discarded. So it is actually 100% safe.
But I was panicked and I was stressed.
Yeah.
I saw the double south over here, and I'm like, no, not like this.
It's not natural
Please.
to break a complete block in your hand, but if you're just looking at the hand on the right and say what's safe, 9-pin safe, the 2-so is safe. So
And
on so
now
forth.
7 is safe.
Okay, that gives you an out.
Boom.
The 6s get pwned. The red is safe.
Yeah, 100% safe. All
Yeah.
3 of the other ones are out.
Another 6, a 9, a white. We double down on the 7, and we live. Oh, hey, we
All
drew
right.
the other 9 as well.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I wonder if you would have, like, if there was any world where you got Chitoi Tempai here, but you wouldn't have because you would have been folding.
Yeah, but that was the exciting finish to.
I'm so curious in Michael's hand then, how close it was. Back at the 8-mon drop, I want to know what was in hand.
Dun 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 dun. He had 5 6 6 6 6 2 3 4 7 7 8.
Okay.
So he's keeping 3 pairs. Let's actually, since we're done with this like analysis, let's just switch over to Mike.
Yeah. So I guess dropped the 8 here, thinking maybe a little concerned about actually dealing in, because if Michael loses any points here, he'll fall below 30,000.
That's true. Also an advantage to having the but he ends up not going Ryokyoku, right? Only
well,
Travis ends up.
We'll see what happened
Senpai.
here. I think this has to be an inefficient cut, this 8-mon.
But it doesn't look like he draws the tiles to make it Tenpai anyways.
Right. That wouldn't have gotten there. And you didn't give him anything to call.
Yeah, if he's just looking to steal something to get Tenpai, then keeping your pawns is a better shape. The 8 is like kind of safe.
Well, keeping the chi option, the diamond shape.
Mm.
Dora comes out, and then
Did he
this is
maybe
the
think I would never drop like a 6/9 based on my discards?
it's maybe possible.
He thought it more likely to get a 4/7 or a. Well, he eventually dropped the 5 so, but like the 4/7 and the Sozu either.
I mean, there of course is the thought that you can pull from anyone around the table.
Each.
Yeah.
That might be a reason to keep the pair as opposed to a diamond shape that can only be cheated from the left. But would have been able to cheat this.
He would have, yeah.
5, so.
And that would have gotten him there, I think.
Boom.
But I think the tiles that he has to push after making that chi are so bad, he probably wouldn't have done it.
Right.
And actually, Michael ended up not having any real safe tiles here.
So we all throw, and that's the way the game ends.
Yeah, that was a fair second place. Good to be positive when a player won a Hanuman Sumo.
Yeah.
So overall on the day, negative 18 approximately, which is, it's not a big hit. Obviously, you'd love to go positive, but this table is a very scary table.
Yeah.
Ada, of course, has had some incredible results. Michael has been on a tear this season. I think is second in the division.
He is.
And Travis, of course, tends to build closed hands, and closed hands tend to be Mongons. So we saw the Hanuman in this game
Indeed.
was massive. So yeah, very scary table to play against, and pretty fair result, I would say.
I'm done. I'm happy to be done and moved on to a different group.
Yeah, 2 interesting games. Was there anything particular that you got out of these games?
Like strategy wise?
Strategy games, yeah. Anything you noticed in terms of your own play or the play of the others, offensively, defensively?
I think I got in my own head about this table and lost track of what my efficiency was.
Mm-hmm.
And that put me in some bad spots.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that's actually an issue I have. Is sometimes I tend to be I try to be very cerebral about my play.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I get too into it, and it's easy to see ghosts. At least tend to see ghosts when I'm playing, think, oh, this tile, I just can't push it. Whereas if I'd come to the game completely, fresh head, I would just deal it, and I'm not worried about it. But I start to metagame too much and make decisions that I wouldn't normally make.
Yeah, there's like a couple of times where I held like an honor tile because I'm like, I don't want them to be open Yaku 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not the right way to play. The other thing, because I had just gotten like a negative 25 the week before, I think I was also like, I don't want to lose any further. So I was like looking for sneaky paths to trip people up when I wasn't even Tenpai yet. I don't think you need to be making those considerations when you're not even Tenpai yet. Like, get the hand first, then be sneaky.
Yeah, there were a couple times where you were Dama a couple turns and then took the Ricci later. And usually it's not good to take a Ricci if you've already decided that you shouldn't take the Ricci. There are some situations where something on the board changes and it makes the Ricci better.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, if you're going to take a Ricci, you should take it immediately. And so I think that's always something to look at if you notice yourself doing that, is to say, like, in review, should I have Ricci this or not in the first decision? A lot of times when I wait before taking the Ricci, it's because I analyzed the position and I said, I don't think I should Ricci. And then over the course of, the other players making their discards, I realized, you know what? I think I should have taken that Ricci, and then I'll throw the stick out. But in those instances, I always feel like I just misanalyzed the position on the first one. I should have taken the Ricci sooner. So my wait one turn to Ricci, it really should have just been an immediate Ricci.
Mm.
And it's very rare that I say, well, now that this has come out, I'm going to Ricci. Although it does happen on occasion, but it is a lot less rare. Or a lot less occurs much less frequently.
But yeah, that was a very good review. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for co-hosting with me. Your experience, your analysis is extremely valuable in this situation.
Well, thanks for offering these games to review. I definitely enjoyed it. I love looking at these situations and also hearing what other people have to say about it, because the way that I think about it isn't necessarily the best way, and it's always good to hear fresh approaches.
Yeah, we all learn together by sharing ideas back and forth and learning off of each other's experiences. Did you have anything you wanted to say before we go?
Well, not really. Just this match was played in the American Ricci Mahjong Leagues. So if anybody enjoyed this game, this review, and thought, hey, I'd like to play here too, check out AmericanRicci.org. That is the website where you can sign up for the league, where you can play all these fun matches and get your games reviewed by other players in the league. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and we will have links to those channels down below. But otherwise, we're all done here. We'll be signing off. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please give the video a like and subscribe if you liked it. It really helps small channels like this one grow and reach a wider audience. And I hope you have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening. Goodbye.